Alright, so this is from AltonHistory.com called Top TV Shows Never Made. And this is The Loud House, if it aired on Cartoon Network. Oh my god, this video is going to get me crucified, I just know it. So, without further ado, let's read into it. The Loud House, created by Chris Savino. Network, Cartoon Network, and the run date was November 16, 2001 to March 28, 2008. The story begins in 1998 after Dexter's Laboratory originally wraps production. Writer and storyboard artist for the show Chris Savino is still by Cartoon Network to make a potential short for the line of cartoon shorts. Yeah, I think I wasn't. I was born in '99, so I didn't know what cartoon shorts were, because I watched Cartoon Network a lot when I was growing up. Trust me. I think I watched Total Drama Island, along with other shows like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Flapjack, and many more, too long to count. Anyway, let's get on with it. Alright, so Savino pitches the idea based off his own childhood growing up in a house of 10 kids called The Loud House, which focuses on an 11-year-old boy named Lincoln, who deals with the life of his 10 sisters. Gee, whoever heard this before? With different personalities, he pitched to Cartoon Network, and they accepted his pitch. Soon a pilot was made for Cartoon Big Pig Weekend. Yeah, I remember that. I believe one of them, I think they chose Conan Kids Next Door as their a big pick, where it was one of the potential cartoons to be selected as official cartoon. The show finished second behind Billy and Mandy, but K&D was still a thing back in those days. But positive reception for the short eventually led to Cartoon Network to pick up the short. Some changes to the program included Lincoln's hair being blonde instead of white hair, because it made him look like an old man with Benjamin Button syndrome. Yeah, you get older if you get younger. It's complicated. And the last name being Reynolds. Oh my god, are they related to Burt Reynolds? Oh my god, dude, that would have been insane. The Loud House aired for 187 episodes across 7 seasons from 2001 to 2008 on Cartoon Network. And get this, they were nominated for Emmy Award in 2003 for Outstanding Animated Production, and got a couple of video games, including No Time to Spy. It released in 2005 on both the GameCube, the PS2, and the original Xbox for all you game nerds out there. Yeah, imagine if I owned that game, I would play it religiously on the PS2. Aside from, and plus NASCAR Thunder 2003, NASCAR Thunder 2004, and all NASCAR games involved on the PS2, as well as Gran Turismo and GTA San Andreas, as well as crossovers with Conan Kids Next Door and Star Wars, Operation Loud. Oh yeah. So the series eventually wrapped up with a TV movie called The Journey to Scotland. And get this, it aired on Boomerang from 2004 to 2024. Yeah, I think Boomerang rebranded itself back in 2014, 2015 because I was in high school at the time. Yeah, before the rebranding, it aired like classic cartoons from Hanna-Barbera, like Yogi Bear, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, Wacky Races, and too many to name. Also, the main Cartoon Network channel itself until 2014. Same goes for like Total Drama Island, the Original World Gumball, Adventure Time. I've seen that a lot of times when I was growing up. I believe it was like in 2010 or 2011. I'm not sure, but I watched it religiously during middle school. Same thing goes for Mad, the Original World Gumball, and regular show, and Flapjack too, and Chowder, and Uncle Grandpa as well too. Yep, C.H. Greenblatt threw up Von Orman, J.G. Quintel, and Peter Braungart. The Loud House is also referenced in other pieces of media, unlike Mad, where Lincoln is a tomb who lost his identity. Is that like the Born Identity, I think? Jesus Christ, it's Lincoln Reynolds. OKK, Let's Be Heroes, Lincoln and his sisters cameo in crossover Nexus, and Jellystone. Yeah, I think, if those are doing what Jellystone is, look it up on the internet. It's for like a rebranding of like Yogi Bear or whatever. Crest is on Infinite Mirth special. A sequel series of the show called The Louder House premiered on HBO Max, albeit without Savina's involvement. We're not going to get into that. Thank God for that. And by the way, since the show was in the 2000s, LGBT characters weren't mainstream just yet, because back then the 2000s were it was like normal more or less, because George W. Bush is president, and a lot of events I'm not gonna get into because controversial and stuff that I grew up with in the 2000s. All right, I'm not innocent here, people. Trust me. Yeah, I watched a lot unfold in the 2000s, dude. Trust me. Even the financial crisis. Yeah, 2008. Yep, the financial crisis happened. Imagine if Lincoln said, "Oh my God, girls, Lehman Brothers collapsed along with AIG. The government is now in recession," or whatever it is. It's not the government, but the country's in recession because like banks, where there's mortgages, the housing crisis, that sort of thing. And Sam Sharp as a boy, and Howard McBride is replaced by a female named Holly. What? Oh my God. Imagine me watching this show on Cartoon Network at the time. Oh, dude, that would have been insane. I would have talked about that for months, No, seriously, I would talk to it for months on end, dude. People will say, "Oh my God, is this dude serious? He's been in the Loud House for the past like year or so. You can't stop talking about it." Yeah, trust me. Yeah, that's awesome, dudes. Yeah, his name is Christian C. 2020 March 29, 2026. So not that long ago. But anyway, that's the Loud House of airing Cartoon Network instead of Nickelodeon. Just like Adventure Time, because I think Adventure Time was considered to be with the Nickelodeon, but it got to Cartoon Network. Same goes for Ed, Edd and Eddy, because Nickelodeon was seriously considering Ed, Edd and Eddy, but Cartoon Network just swooped it up and said, "No, we got this." That's it. See ya.